Setting up Wi-Fi and VNC on Linux. Objective. This tutorial is provided by Atmos Research and Development and will demonstrate one method for how to set up Wi-Fi and VNC on a Linux machine entirely within the terminal. Why is this useful? This is helpful in order to gain remote access, run headless setups, as well as other troubleshooting applications. Here's what we'll cover. Connecting to Wi-Fi via the terminal, testing internet connectivity, installing and configuring a VNC server, installing a lightweight desktop environment, XFCE, editing VNC STA startup files, and launching a VNC session. Step 1. Download SDK Manager. Visit developer.nvidia.com/SDK Manager. Prepare and install. Install the SDK Manager using your preferred method. We use the Ubuntu command on Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. Launch and sign in. Open the SDK Manager after installation. Log in with your NVIDIA account or create one if needed. Step 2. Hardware detection and setup. Set up recovery mode on your Jetson. Connect the Jetson to your computer using a data cable. SDK Manager should detect the device once it's in recovery mode. In the next page, review the target and host components to be installed and check the license agreements box. Click Continue to begin installation. Flashing. Before flashing, you'll be prompted to configure basic settings by SDK Manager. Enter the pre-configuration details such as username and password. When prompted, select the correct storage device, for example, NVMe if that's your setup. Upon clicking, Finish the flashing will begin. Monitor the progress bar and any on-screen instructions. Step 3. Connect to Wi-Fi from the terminal SSH into the Jetson device using the credentials set in the pre-configuration process. On the command prompt, you can list the available networks using the command nmcli device Wi-Fi list. nmcli is the command line tool for Network Manager. Following it with device Wi-Fi list lists available Wi-Fi networks. An alternative to this is IW list scan. However, it is more complex and requires root privileges. Step 5. Set up Wi-Fi from VNC Viewer. If you are not very comfortable with the command line and would prefer to do most of your tasks via GUI, then we can also set up a VNC server. However, we will still need to do some setup in our SSH session to be able to get there. First, we are going to install a lightweight VNC server. In this tutorial, we are using TightVNC server. Install it in the Jetson device using sudo apt get install TightVNC server. Start the VNC server using TightVNC server :1. 1 specifies the display number. During the first time setup, you will be prompted to set a password for access. You can skip the view-only password unless you need read-only access. Let's go ahead and stop the session running display 1 using the command TightVNC server kill1. Step 6. Install a lightweight desktop. Next, we need to install a desktop that can work well over the VNC session. This VNC configuration file controls what loads when your VNC session starts, things like terminals, desktop themes, background colors, and window managers. If the line export xkl_xmodmap_disable equals 1 is present, it means that the current setup, GNOME desktop, is very resource intensive, therefore you can go ahead and uninstall that. Instead, we should install a lightweight and fast desktop such as LXDE, but in our case we are using XFCE desktop as they provide extra tools for a better experience. Install XFCE4 and XFCE4 goodies packages with the command sudo apt get install XFCE4 goodies. Step 7. Configures what happens when VNC starts. Edit the VNC startup file by going into the xstartup file in .vnc folder. Remove the previous content, except the first line that tells the system to run the script with bash. Ensure your script is executable using the chmod command. Then we will test this setup by running the VNC server. First install VNC Viewer on your host computer. Open Real VNC Viewer and enter the IP address of the Jetson device, followed by the display number. This should start the display for the Jetson. You might see errors like not authorized when trying to change Wi-Fi settings or perform administrative tasks. This happens because VNC does not start a session with proper authentication. Step 8. Fix authentication issue on VNC server. To fix the not authorized issue, we need to install PolicyKit, which allows authentication prompts to work within a VNC session. Install the package PolicyKit gnome. Next, enter edit mode in the xstartup file and include the following line: /user/lib/PolicyKit gnome. This starts the PolicyKit authentication agent when VNC launches and allows applications like Network Manager. Now, when you open System Settings in VNC, authentication dialogs should appear normally. Optionally, you can remove all authentication prompts for a specific user. However, please keep in mind that this can be a security risk. Only use this in controlled environments, like a test machine. To do this, create a PolicyKit rule for passwordless privileges. First, create the folder 50local.d inside the polkit local authority folder. We will store local authentication policies here. Then, create the file 10nopassword.pkla. Add the contents, as shown in the screen. In our case, NVIDIA is our target user group. We are creating the policy name followed by instructions to allow all actions without prompting for a password when the user is logged in or inactive and from any session. Reboot the Jetson after saving these changes. Step 9. Final testing. After the reboot, the user group NVIDIA can perform any system action without a password prompt. Like and subscribe for more Linux tutorials. Drop your questions in the comments.